Will! Man, long time. Grabe ka po. You look so great, man. How the are you?
Dude, are you allowed to say that on this?
Don't worry, man. It's safe with me. Huh? It's not gonna make the cut, right? Studying boundaries and navigating limits in hopes to guide people who end up passing them has always been a role that the MTRCB has aimed to fulfill. And for this episode of Reclassified, we speak to someone who understands what it's like to practically live at the boundaries he constantly explores. For no creator has opened more doors for this new digital era, much like our next guest. A multi-international award winner, and even at such a young age, already a Lifetime Achievement awardee, Mr. Wil Dasovich. G'day mates! He's an award-winning, inspiring content creator who's faced so many life-changing events both in his life and content. He's also a good mate, and his mom just promised me a brand new television. Please welcome Wil Dasovich. Bae, I'm not even kidding about the TV. She did promise me that, definitely. But hey, Lifetime Achievement Award, Pioneer Creator of the Year Award, basically the same thing from the CICP. You just want that at your age. Why are you so old? No, I mean, how old are you? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, no, when I won that award, Lifetime Achievement Pioneer Creator, that's actually the first thing I was thinking. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm that old already.
At that age.
But yeah, no, it's a great feeling. Winning awards is always fun, you know? Because we put so much work into our videos and what we do, and you know, it's good to get that recognition sometimes. Because I mean, we actually do it for ourselves. It is a really good feeling to like see your creation and do the whole process of it, and you know, you get that feedback from your viewers, but it's always nice to get even more.
But has it changed you at all? I mean, you've gone such a long way. Now you're an award-winning content creator, man. The world basically knows you. How has that changed your life?
The international awards are, yeah, those are really cool. Like the most recent one I got was in Nepal. Those are cool. I'm actually super afraid of award shows. I don't know if anxious is the right word, but like I'm kind of timid at award shows.
Is that something that goes back to even before?
I think I've always been scared. You know what it is? It's also anticipation. Like when I know there's a chance I'm gonna win something and have to be on a stage where everyone's staring at me and I have to say something important or inspiring.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. So I think that's why they freak me out.
Even up to this day?
Up until this day, yeah. I'm never comfortable. I never enjoy when I'm at award shows.
Which is so funny because you're very competitive before, you know, going with your career path. Someone who's very competitive will always want to win, and someone who wins will always be up on stage talking to people. How do you connect that disconnect?
It is weird, like cognitive dissonance I have, because I don't want to go up on stage. Like I hate that.
Yeah, but you want to win.
But I want to win. And it's not so much that I love winning. I really enjoy winning. I just hate losing. It's more if I just hate losing rather than I love winning.
Right. If you look at it that way.
I grew up in sports at 5 years old. My dad was my coach. He always was the coach of like my baseball teams. He was the coach on football teams and everything. So I was just kind of bred to compete and to win, and that's what you just have to do. Wow. So I've just been conditioned that way at such a young age.
So this is Wil Dasovich before all the vlogging and all the fame.
Yeah, this is Wil Dasovich, 5 years old, 6 years old.
How was growing up like in your household?
Good, just, you know, I had a very normal, great American childhood.
Well, define normal. Normal is, you know, different.
Normal is I had no like trauma, I'd say. I don't have any like deep like traumatic story.
Right.
Besides, which this isn't traumatic, but I guess it's just something that's not so normal, is that my dad was in the Merchant Marines.
Right.
So he did have to ship off for many, many months.
Right.
So there was that. Kind of like an OFW, like what OFW children in the Philippines kind of go through, is where they have parents who are gone for months. So there was that, like growing up sometimes without my dad there and missing my dad and stuff. But I mean, besides that's nothing comparative to other, like real life problems. We had enough money.
Right.
I was able to eat 3 square meals a day.
Right.
Had a loving mom who took care of me and my sister. Played sports, got good grades, played an instrument, went to a good college, and then eventually came here to the Philippines and everything.
Your relationship with your parents, would you consider that very important in defining who you are now?
Yeah, I'm really close with my parents, and that did make me the person who I am today, just because they were there, they were present.
Right.
They were there to teach me all the values and stuff I needed. So they led by example, you know, like for my dad with all the outdoor activities, skiing, snowboarding, hiking, all that stuff, being like this very adventurous.
Right.
I became that way because my dad exposed me to that as a kid. My mom's very loving and nurturing, and both of them are comedians in their own separate ways, and I think that's where I was able to adapt their humor and eventually, kind of make a career out of it. I'm not as funny as you, but I'm funny enough where I'm able to make money and film videos about it and make myself look funny.
You developed your skill over time, but most of the starting content that you had, in order to develop these skills, you used your family a lot in your vlogs.
My family's a hack, and you know what it is with my family and anyone for that matter in my vlogs who kind of blow up as characters is I find them incredibly entertaining and funny. And if I find that entertaining, then of course the world will. As weird as it sounds as a vlogger, you know, it's like, it's all about you. There's kind of this narcissistic aspect because it's like, it's your life TV show.
Yes.
I don't typically enjoy being the center of attention all the time. So when I can just film my parents interact or my friends, like Jacko or you or Daniel Marsh or anyone around.
He needs training.
I don't know if this is good. I don't know if this is a good idea.
Wait, hold on. Hello, okay, wait, I gotta get this shot. This is a good shot, wait.
I'm dying, you guys.
It's a lot easier for me to film people and to observe them, and in that way I also take part as being the viewer. So I get to watch it play out as well, rather than be the host of this my own TV show that you call a vlog.
Do you think it's something unique to you, the way you approach your vlogs? Because, dude, you basically pioneered vlogging. You just got an award for it in the Philippines. You put it on the bloody map, bro. You saw something in vlogging when no one else was vlogging in the Philippines that nobody else saw. What was that, and why did you decide to start vlogging in the first place?
I was just trying to find out what I was good at. I feel like all of us, like as we grow up, we want to find what we're good at because we want to be successful, but we all think, but I'm not good at anything. And that's what I felt. I was really good at sports, but I wasn't good enough to become a professional.
Right.
I was good in school and got good grades, but I wasn't going to be the best businessman. I studied business.
Wow.
I was doing commercials here, but I wasn't the #1 commercial model. So I figured out what am I good at and what am I better than anyone else at. And this has become a cliche, but at the time it wasn't really a cliche, and it was just, I realized I was the best at being myself because I'm a unique individual.
Yeah.
As we all are. We're all unique individuals. So I just kind of analyzed what made me unique, and it was kind of these thought patterns I had, the way I approach life, the weird quirks I do, like I brush my teeth on one foot so that I can build muscle and stability in one of my legs. And I tell people why I'm weird, but there's purpose throughout all my weirdness, and it all comes back to like growth and self-development. And I was really happy. And I noticed that like not everyone is just super happy all the time.
Yeah.
And I lived with this energy, and by being around people always told me like, wow, you have a very a different type of energy. People always used to say you're the most energetic person I've ever met before, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I get that.
Legit.
So that made me different. I was more energetic than everyone, and then I looked at like energy is kind of like happiness. They're together, because when you don't have any energy, sometimes you can feel like sad or just like not in the mood or not motivated. So I use this energy as motivation. And then the other thing I figured out at this time in my life was that I can work harder than anyone else. I will not sleep. I will go crazy. I will not talk to friends. I will not be in relationships I won't do anything unless I achieve this one goal. And daily vlogging.
You did that straight.
So that was it. So daily vlogging was basically an aggregate of all these things I realized what made me special, what made me different was, one, no one has my personality because we all have our own personality. Number two, work ethic. Who's gonna be crazy enough to video themselves all day and then edit all night and like not get a good amount of sleep and just do that all the time? And then the other thing is, I wouldn't say I was fearless. Every single day I was full of fear. I was full of discomfort because people look at you like you're crazy and psycho. Because again, you have to remember, back in the day, this was before Instagram stories. So people weren't even filming their lives on their phone.
Yeah.
So it wasn't normalized to film stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just knew it would be successful if I just kept at it every single day. I just knew no matter how many people didn't like understood me. So that was it. Yeah, it was just, I just saw it. I knew I had the work ethic plus this weird personality, and that would be my business that I one day would monetize, but I didn't make money for many, many months off of doing that, because you just have to go off of your creativity and your drive and stuff. And
what drives you these days?
What drives me?
Yeah, where do you get your energy for happiness? What drives you forward? Your content has changed over the years. Obviously, you have multiple channels now.
Yeah, I have 3 YouTube channels. My content is like I would say 1.5 years, my content is completely different. Right. Like 2018, after I was battling cancer, for instance.
Yes.
Every video I did were like little documentaries.
Yeah.
With a beginning, middle, end, conflict, rising action. It was just, they were very storytelling with voiceovers and everything. And I did that for a long time.
And I had a strong feeling that some of those videos that you did when you were battling cancer was not just talking to the people, but I feel like you were talking to yourself to give you the strength. Am I correct in, feeling that?
It is. You're giving other people strength by kind of like showing them and inspiring them how to do things, and then by them realizing that, oh, I can become a stronger individual by doing these certain techniques, by practicing these certain exercises, mental exercises, physical exercises. It helped their life, and then that reinforces that everything I'm doing is making a difference. So it just reminds me, okay, I have a purpose. Okay, now I use this purpose to keep going, to keep surviving. And then that's kind of like what helped me through that period of my life.
Pretty much the godfather of vlogging in the Philippines, Wil has inspired countless others to pick up their phones and cameras and bravely do the same, to open and share more of their lives, loves, and lessons to the world, and even more so, to dare to be creators themselves, the MTRCB included. G'day ladies and gents and mates. Most of you may know me as Bogart the Explorer. I'm also known as board member Marco Antonio Ho. Been at the MTRCB for a couple of years now. I take my job as seriously as I take blogging very seriously. Let's give you a tour of my second home. Let's go. Over here we've got a wide receiving area, perfect for people who need to breathe. Over here is the adjudication room. If we see something out there that's not worth being seen by people below the 13 years of age, no, we work together because that's where we are, our family. Let's go. Okay, over here is a water jug. A lot of conversations happen here. You get some water. That's how it usually goes. We are at the office of the chair, or should I say, the chairs. Over here are the previous chairmen of the MTRCB, done in a charcoal artsy setting. I like it because it's very artsy. Go back up the stairs, take you to a very, very important room. Over here we've got the screens, a lot of TVs. Each screen has an eye on it. Literally, from the same person, one eye is watching this, the other eye is watching this. And then they cross sometimes and go up and down. And then we enter into the inner sanctum of the MTRCB. Here on the right is what we call the Nida Blanca room. It's actually a meeting room. Over here, we've got padded walls so that when people cross the line, no one can hear them scream because they will appreciate what we tell them. Over here is the Philippine flag. And over here is the MTRCB logo. Both deserve equal respect. These are what you call the preview rooms. If we have a material that needs or requires reviewing, like such as a TV show, we watch said material on giant television screen, have our laptops here ready for voting as to the rating of such material, either G, PG, SPG for television, and it goes all the way to R18 if you're on film. I'm going to show you the most important room in the building, well, for me at least. This is the bathroom for the men, and this is the bathroom for the super men, the women and the mommy of our lives. Thank you, mommy. Welcome to the projection room. Entering the projection room, you find this very comfortable seating, like an actual cinema. If you look up, there's our projector right there. And the big screen got tiny holes. What are those holes for, Bogart? Well, that's because behind this thing, big, expensive speakers that produce really, really good sound. So that's it, mates. As you can see, the hat's already off. Time to put on my board member Mark Hoho duties. I gotta do this for the country, for our kids, and for our future. I toured you around. I hope you guys had a good time. You learned a lot of things, but now it's time for you to go. Serious mode na. MTRCB, kaagapay ng pamilyang Pilipino tungo sa responsableng panunod. Cheers. You inspire people more now, and like before, you did have a story that's a bit inspiring, but it was more whatever came to your life.
Yeah, my life's always changing, and I'm always trying to create a story out of what's ever happening, and my life is always evolving, and there's always a story within what's happening. You just have to find that story.
And these are the things that we see in your vlog, but I talked to Jocko, you know, he was there in the beginning. A couple months after you came to the Philippines and started vlogging, there were things that he said that you shot tons of videos that never made the cut. Maybe it's about time we talk about them. Why didn't they make the cut?
Those things, these are the things that keep me up at night, up until today.
Why?
Because if you're gonna do something, you have to finish it. Like these are like some of my core values that I live with. That's like next to like never quit, never give up. Another one is just like if you're gonna start something, you have to finish it.
So you have footage from all those years ago?
Man,
Still?
I have a handful of vlogs that have never been produced, and there are some that I can cut my ties with, but other ones, it's just I never got to it. Like me and Jacko's Guam trip was like one of the best trips of my life, but that was when I found out I had cancer. So I was like, I had to go through chemo and do all this, and I didn't have time to go back and edit this travel series because I had to focus on what was going on at the time and tell that current story.
So is it more just the time that decides what makes the cut, or were there specific things that you actually considered, like what would the people watching this think or something like that?
You know what, as more time goes on, the less relevant that story may be to your audience, and your mind changes. So, and your environment is changing as well.
Of course.
So that's why the longer you go without uploading a story, sometimes it starts to lose its relevance, and it may not even be who you are anymore. I can't upload a video 4 years ago. I can't edit a video now and upload it that was filmed 4 years ago because I was different, dude. I was young. I was like, like I just cringe looking at myself.
Yeah, same here.
We were different.
Yeah.
You know, it all comes down to opportunity cost because I have 3 YouTube channels, I have a podcast, I have events, and I travel all the time. So it's about a matter of time. And at this point in my life, I'm not ready to take away these hours of health. Yeah.
You just recently climbed Mount Everest.
Yeah, and other mountains, which I'm not allowed to say because it was on a TV show, which comes out next year. But yes.
And then you're doing all sorts of crazy things, jumping out of a plane. One of the craziest ones was jumping in the Pasig River. Where do you? I remember that.
You know what? I think that's my most underrated, craziest thing I've ever done. I was just with Nico Bolsico a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, brother, it's so crazy what you do. You jump out of a plane, you do the biggest bungee jump in the entire world.
Yeah.
You're jumping off of bridges where someone died 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Into ice cold water in Switzerland.
Yeah.
He's like, but the craziest thing you've ever done that no one talks about is jumping into the Pasig River. Yeah,
exactly, which is what I was thinking.
You know what? It was pre-pandemic.
It was, yeah.
So
there were kids there.
There were kids, and they were swimming, and that's why they can do it, I can do it.
Where do you define this line between doing something daring and doing something crazy?
It's very murky. It's a murky thing.
Do you have like a sort of rule of thumb at least you follow or something?
Yeah, I think if there's like a high enough risk that it might result in a lifetime injury or death, then I won't do it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
It's something that
so like when I did the bungee jumping and the skydiving,
yeah,
like that's not that bad. I'm terrified, but I know I'm gonna survive because one, it's in Switzerland. The Swiss are like, no one's ever died before from that particular plane.
Right. All the safety things
all that
are
stuff,
there.
yeah. But I'm thinking like in Switzerland, when I jumped off the bridge, I was with the GoPro team.
Yeah.
I was there for GoPro Summit with professional athletes,
yeah,
with professional daredevils who have done way cooler stuff than me. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a vlogger that films myself doing crazy stuff. But that's like all they do is, they're base jumpers. They do crazy stuff. But there was this bridge in Switzerland. Multiple people had died that year. I think it was because of the water so cold.
Right.
It's a cold shock effect that happens. I think it was more of that rather than them landing on a rock or landing wrong. I assume.
Uh-huh.
But being around these people, I feel like I had to prove, I want to be cool like all the GoPro guys
they can do
and
the
prove
cool
that,
stuff, yeah.
That vloggers are as fearless as athletes. So no one did it. No one jumped off that bridge, but
except you.
I did it.
Wow.
And that's the one that's like, this is scary because my dad really doesn't like me jumping off bridges in water because his friend did it and broke his neck or something, and then he ended up a paraplegic for the rest of his life.
Oh.
So it's like past experiences that are close to home.
Right.
Those are kind of scary. So that one was like I was really on the verge, but I don't know. It's probably an ego thing or a pride thing. I just wanted to prove a point.
But you put confidence in other people in that because you're confident that the guy who was setting up the whole bungee thing was secure in what he did. But there were certain challenges in your life that you really had no control over the result. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you saw that you had control because you beat it now. I'm talking about the cancer, man.
Yeah.
That's something that, most people when they have cancer, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to get out of this. But your mentality when you're attacking a challenge is, I know I'm going to get out of this. I'm just going to do the best that I can because I know I'm capable of. What was your mentality like when you were attacking cancer head on?
Yeah, I was in a very positive place.
You weren't scared?
Initially, I wasn't scared. Initially.
What?
Yeah. Initially, I wasn't scared.
How do you explain that?
I'm really weird, man. I just conditioned myself to enjoy challenges and look at challenges as an opportunity, as something for me to overcome and inspire, because that's my purpose. And I think at the end of the day, it always comes back to purpose. I think that's what makes us truly happy. And I think that's what everyone just wants in their life, is to feel like they're making a difference. I don't want to be like, just living my life without knowing that I'm making an impact. So there's so many stories that came out of people just really turning their life around just because they watched someone else do something incredible, and then they had the belief, oh, if he can do it, then I can do it. And I was like, now I can do that.
Yeah.
I looked at it like this. I'm very practical. I was young.
Yeah.
And it's better to battle cancer when you're young because your body has a good immune system. You can bounce back from chemo. I was 25. I was super fit. I was exercising every single day. I was eating healthy. I had a really good mindset. I enjoyed my life. And it goes back to the most important thing is I was living with a purpose, for a purpose. And as long as you have a purpose, then your mind and your body is going to keep going. I dedicated every single day to doing what I needed to do to give myself the best chance.
Certainly the read would be there would be no need for any further treatment. It would just, at this point you would be under surveillance.
What difference are you trying to make, man?
Get people to change their lifestyle, to live for the adventure, to find happiness and all these things that I was and I currently am just in love with life. I live by searching for things that I find uncomfortable. I gravitate towards the things that I fear rather than run away from them. I think that's one of the most important things that I do that makes me so grateful for every single day and for life. Because if you're always running away from the things that you fear, then fear's going to hold you down, and you're never going to be able to break out of your shell and reach your maximum potential and become that superhuman that you are. We all have a good amount of superhuman within us. We all have this maximum potential, but 99% of people never realize what their potential is, because the only way to realize that is to continue to push the boundaries and face your fears. So I seek out the things I fear. I'm terrified of heights. So this goes back to why I jump out of planes and why I bungee jump. Because my dad, he's just stupid. Why do you do that? What's the whole purpose?
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that. They're like, well, why do you, make yourself not feel good? And it never feels good when I do this. People think I'm addicted to it. But it's about what happens after. After I face my fear of jumping out of a plane where I feel like I'm dying, once it's over, I realize, oh, I survived that.
Right.
And now I can do something else. There's so many more things I can do. We all think we can't do things until we just try them and then realize, oh, we can do that. Then there's more things. And so,
Your folks don't exactly stop you from doing these things, though.
They'll try and give me talks.
Right.
And they'll say their piece, and they'll say why they don't think it's the best idea to go and free dive and hold your breath for 5 minutes, which is what I did recently.
Yeah. And you listen.
I listen to them.
Listen, but not.
And I take into consideration what they say. But like my dad says, at the end, my dad goes, the last thing my dad says after he gives me these talks is, okay, but I know you're gonna do whatever you want, and I know I can't stop you from doing whatever you want because it's your life, and that's who you are, and that's how he trained me to be. He trained me growing up to make my decisions.
Your purpose in life now is to inspire people. Is it safe to say that you'd be okay if people actually emulated your life, really went for it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Just do it calculated, because at the end of the day, you have to do crazy things, and you have to face your fears, or else all these negative things that we perceive, they're gonna catch up to you and they're gonna get you. And the only way to be free from that is to search it out.
Right.
To experience it voluntarily.
Voluntarily.
Yes.
On your own terms.
Yes. Voluntary suffering is the only way to really become free of it.
You always go head on to discover what it takes to become superhuman. Now you brought that up. What is superhuman to you? Define superhuman for Wil Dasovich.
So superhuman, we all have just a superhuman within us. And superhuman is just your maximum potential. That's basically what it is. And you know what? There is no end. There is no final, okay, I'm finally superhuman. It's just exercising superhuman like it's a muscle. And that's what I do on my podcast. I talk about these crazy experiences. And that for instance, a couple of weeks ago, I did this challenge, last man standing by Colombia, where it's who can stand on a pole the longest. That's that was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
You've done so many things, climbing Everest, standing on 1 foot, bungee jumping. These are all the things that you feared before. Is there anything else that Wil Dasovich doesn't fear, or that fears now?
I fear everything.
Still? Even the ones that you've done before?
I still fear heights. I still fear public speaking. I still fear award shows.
Right.
Like there's so many, there's like so many things I fear.
Yeah.
But I continue to seek them, and every time I, make friends with fear. Every time I expose myself to these fears, I become better at them, and I become better at trying to navigate around them, and I become a stronger individual that realizes that I'm able to do other things in life. So this is the reason why I try and do these free diving competitions, vlog competitions, whatever, try and win awards and do all this stuff, is because every time I challenge myself and I overcome that challenge, then it just leads to the next one, and it keeps this drive within me, this motivation.
If you had to go back, because you've gone so far now, you've experienced so many things in life in such a short amount of time. At this point though, if you had a chance to talk to young Wil Dasovich before all this started, what would you say to him?
I would just say worry less. Don't worry about the things that are out of your control. Just continue to understand and realize what is in your control, and then work to the best of your capabilities to give yourself the best shot that you have, and that's pretty much it. It's a form of stoicism.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's stoic philosophy.
It is.
Because I think one of the things that a lot of people struggle with in day-to-day life is just having anxieties over things that are out of their control, and it's not going to help you to worry about it. Like you just have to do what you can that's in your control to better your situation.
Superhuman Wil Dasovich. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. It was awesome. I wish I was as good as interviewing as you.
Ayun na ba? Maulaw punta. Bye. Wil's grit and dedication throughout his life to not only beat the odds, but to push physical and mental boundaries under the right guidance has always been nothing short of amazing, proving time and again that life has no limitations, except the ones that we make. He's taught us to never stop growing and learning, for life never stops teaching, and that all we need to do is be that little extra in the ordinary to become the super and superhuman. I am Bogart the Explorer, and this has been another MTRCB Reclassified. Hey, g'day mates, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, you might enjoy the other episodes. So please do follow the MTRCB on all the social media to get updated. And if you want to listen to the full uncut episodes, do follow us on Spotify.